All right, good morning, everybody. UFC Fight Night 211 official weigh-ins about to get underway. The infamous UFC Fight Night 211, where no public or media will be allowed in the building. We'll see how it all plays out tomorrow.
How you doing?
Good morning,
What's
sir.
up,
How you
John?
doing?
Good to see you, man.
Yep. The Honorable Jeff Mullen is in the building as we start to get everybody in place. Scott McCray, what's going on, my man? Chrissy J in the house, much appreciated. Richard Noggin in the house. Zuckerberg has not kicked us out. Just said, oh, John Annick's here. It's a big show. Media can't get in, but John Annick's here. Oh, shit.
I see a lot of media here. I don't know. I see a lot of media here. We're all here. What's up, Big Johnny? Morning, John.
Yeah, obviously, still all the same rumblings around there about what's going on, but nobody really has official confirmation of what's going on. I have started to wonder if you guys had a chance to see. I got a chance to talk to Shaquille O'Neal earlier this week, and there's a big event on Saturday night at the MGM Grand Garden Arena that Shaq's Foundation is putting on. And I did find out this week that Dana is actually on the board of directors of Shaq's charity. And if you take a look over the Shaquille O'Neal Foundation, pretty cool event. They raised like $2.8 million last year, the first one. And this year they're hoping to do similar, and they're going to build a new Boys and Girls Club facility here in Las Vegas. Anyway, big VIP list, big VIP list. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with it whatsoever. Have not heard that it does whatsoever, but just kind of made me curious. Obviously, big events happen in Las Vegas all the time, so it could be completely unrelated, but did make me curious. So anyway, who knows what's going on? Yeah, see, and Scott, that's what a lot of people are saying, maybe a technology metaverse type testing. I think a lot of people feel that way. But why the need to kick anybody out for that? Like, it's just weird. Like, why have no media? Just, you got to set up some cameras and move them around? I don't know. Tyler says, tell Zuck to kick rocks. I think you will see. I talked to Dane about that earlier in the week, where it was like, or maybe it was last week, and he kind of said, we don't know. I think they do want to take down the road. Here's the thing I say, all the people that say, oh, well, they're just doing the Apex because the Apex is cheaper. That's true. That's fair. Obviously all the costs are fixed here. You're not trying to rent the facility. You're not trying to bring in all the equipment, set everything up, break it all down. It's much more fixed costs here. But here's the one thing that I know Dana believes, and I know the company believes too, is that the thing that helps this company grow is to have it on the road. As anybody who's been to a UFC live event will tell you, the first time you go to a UFC live event, you're like, damn, I love this sport. Because they do a great job with the presentation. They got music and the lights and the energy and the crowd. And you lose that at the Apex, right? It's not the same just watching a show on TV. And so, for people to say, oh, I bet they'll just do all the shows at the Apex. I don't think so. They'll always do some shows here at the Apex. But they do want to travel it around. That's how you create fans. Yeah, it's funny because I saw a lot of people quoting Dana and be like, I can't believe he said it's just to give the media a depth. Make sure you watch the original clip. It's so tongue-in-cheek joke or whatever. Obviously it was a joke, but it does. But that's just Dana's style, right? Like, to me, it reminds me a lot of Fight Island. He could have told us everything from the beginning. They knew what was going on, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's just Dana's personality. I don't think he feels the obligated or the need to tell anybody anything. Yeah, he could, and it would get rid of all the rumors and the questions and all that. But I think he's just like, whatever. Fight card to Philly, Robert Barrow. You're right about that. Definitely need to have a Philly card. Obviously, a lot of talent coming out of that area right now. Obviously, I spend my fair amount of time out in the Philly area working with CFFC. Actually heading out there next week for CFFC 113 next Saturday at the Parks Casino. But yeah, a ton of talent in the Philly area. They definitely need to come back to Philly soon.
What's up, man?
Tyler's like, just keep that rotation, huh? You good with that?
I know.
All right, so here's is it Nick? Sorry if I'm pronouncing it. Nick J. I'm assuming it's Nick. Anyway, Nick, here's the thing is, though, when I saw that tweet, he didn't rent the Apex. Here's what initially came to my mind is, what if it's because there was no money to what if it is Zuckerberg? And again, I have no confirmation that it is. I've just heard all the same stuff. That's all the rumbling we hear on the ground here. But I have nobody that's been able to say 100% certainly, yes, this is absolutely what's going on. But what if it's as simple as no money changed hands, so therefore Dana can, in clear conscience, say he didn't rent it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to look at stuff like that. It doesn't mean it's not. All right, Nick, good. Thanks for the confirmation. I was like, hopefully that's not like a foreign name, like Nij. So, yeah, you got to look at that. Like Dana could have to say, he didn't rent it. You go like, well, he asked if he could have it reserved completely for him. You know what I mean? So you always have to be careful in taking something at face value and assuming, you know, what it completely means. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Tyler. The thing is, I think I was talking to my man, Abby Subban, about it. You know, we were kind of just chatting about it, and I'm like, the thing is, the reality is going to be way less exciting than anybody wants it to be. Oh, by the way, just so you know about the weigh-ins, it sounds like we'll have about half the card right off the top, so it should be hot and heavy to get started, including, it seems like Mackenzie Dern and Jan Shaonon, our headliners, will be up first. So if anybody is interested in the actual weigh-ins and not just what the hell's going on with the no fans and media, there you go. And look, speaking of Mackenzie Dern, you know, a lot of people pointed to her saying, oh, Zuckerberg rented it out, and like that's the proof positive confirmation. I'm guessing it was just the same. You know, she was hearing the same thing we were, because I'm telling you right now, I've talked to people that are like, I don't even know exactly what's going on. So I think she might have just been speaking at the media day, if you saw that quote, about just what she was hearing as well. So who knows? But just means a Saturday afternoon watching fights at home instead of watching fights here. All right, looks like Jeff Mullen is jumping on board. I see John Anna going and grabbing a microphone. It's about time to get this morning started.
It's up front, John. Thank you, Ken. You're welcome. I saw him place there earlier.
Audio tech, Ken Hathaway.
I mean, what would I do? Credit. Want show credit. We're not yet. Do I need to wait till 9 on the streets play? What time you got exactly? Quick announcement for you before we get started. Due to an illness for Jessica Penne, the strawweight encounter between Penne and Tabitha Ricci is off.
Well, there you go. One about scratched off the top.
All right, thank you all for being here for the official weigh-in UFC Fight Night, Dern versus Jan, and we will begin with one of the fighters around whom this fight card was built, the number 6 ranked strawweight contender, Jan Shaonon.
and a half.
115 and a half, the official weight for Jan Shaonon. All right, next fighter to the scale, one half of the co-main event in the UFC's welterweight division, 18-time UFC winner, Masaranduba Francisco Trinaldo.
$170.
170, the official weight for Francisco Trinaldo. All right, next fighter to the scale, repping Taunton, Mass. in the UFC's bantamweight division, Randy Costa. Thank you.
135.
135, the official weight for Randy Costa. All right, next fighter to the scale, charged with kicking off the main card live on ESPN Plus in the lightweight division, Vyacheslav Barshov.
$155.5.
Official weight 155.5 for Slavaklaus Vyacheslav Barshov. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a featured bout on the main card in the bantamweight division, Raoni Barcelos.
$135.5.
135.5 for Raoni Barcelos. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing at a catch weight of 140 pounds, Daniel Santos.
$138.5.
138.5, the official weight for Daniel Santos. All right, next athlete to weigh in this morning in the lightweight division, Jesse Ronson.
$155.5.
155.5, the official weight for Jesse Ronson. All right, next fighter to weigh in the other half of that featured bout on the main card in the bantamweight division, Trevin 5-Star Jones.
$135.
135, the official weight for Trevin Jones. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing at a catch weight of 140 pounds, Yulia Stoliarenko.
$139.5.
Official weight 139.5 for Yulia Stoliarenko. All right, next fighter to the scale, the budding welterweight contender, one half of the co-main event, Randy Rude Boy Brown.
and a half.
170 and a half, the official weight for Randy Brown.
Thank you, babe.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the light heavyweight division, Maxim Grecian.
$205 and a half.
205 and a half, the official weight for Maxim Grecian. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a main card bout in the lightweight division, back for the first time in a long time, Mike Davis.
$155.
155 on the screws for Mike Davis. All right, next athlete weighing in for a catchweight bout at 140 pounds, John Castaneda.
$139 and a half.
139 and a half, the official weight for John Castaneda. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in a lightweight prelim, Neto BJJ, Joachim Silva.
Yeah, have them hang up there. That's fine. 155.
155, the official weight for Joachim Silva. All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the UFC's middleweight division, Brendan All-In Allen. BA's fighting on the preliminary portion tomorrow night, folks.
Oh, come on. Doesn't matter where you are on the card.
You know it's bullshit.
It doesn't matter where you are on the card, babe. When it's
I'm gonna show out no matter what. Thank you, sir.
Hey, we picked it on our podcast as it was a main card fight.
186.
186, the official weight for Brendan Allen.
right here, baby. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
See John Anik smoothly working a podcast plug there. Well done, sir. Always just a little product placement.
We did pick the fight.
We did the same. It is one you look at, you're like, huh? All right, so busy start there. I'd heard originally the main event was up first, but we still have not seen Mackenzie Dern. We did get Jan Shaonon. Oh, already back to work. I see Christoph Jotko out to the side.
All right, next fighter to the scale, longtime roster staple in the UFC's middleweight division, Christoph Jotko. 185 and a half, the official weight for Christoph Jotko.
All right, looks like now we'll have a little break there. Christoph Jotko slipped in there. So Jan Shaonon first in, 115 and a half. Still waiting on Mackenzie Dern at this point. Rest of the main card looking good. Randy Brown, Francisco Trinaldo already in. Heone Barcelos, Trevin Jones already in. Still waiting on both Don Sheamus and Sadiq Youssef. John Castaneda, Daniel Santos already in. Vyacheslav Borshov? The pronunciation changed a little bit this week. I know I always trust my man John Anik. I know that's a passion of his. That one caught me off guard a little bit. Sounds like that got changed a little bit. Mike Davis in as well. Still waiting on Ilir Latifi, Alexi Olynyk. If you missed the earlier announcement, Jessica Penne, Tabitha Ricci, that fight is off. Jessica Penne, illness to blame for that. It was announced just off the start. Jesse Ronson, Joachim Silva in, Brendan Allen, Christoph Jotko in. Brendan Allen lamenting the fact that he was on the prelims. He was not happy about that. And it is one that's a little bit of a head scratcher. I don't know what you'd replace it with, though. I mean, yeah, what would you take off that main card? I mean, Youssef is ranked. I know Sheamus is new. You look at the rest of them. I mean, they're all on ESPN Plus. They're all on the same thing. You know, and you're trying to give people a reason to tune in early as well. You're trying to kind of space it out on the broadcast a little bit. But anyway, Max Christian in, still waiting on Felipe Lens. Stoliarenko in, still waiting on Chelsea Chandler. Randy Costa in, still waiting on Guido Kennedy. So at this point, looks like we're just waiting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fighters to weigh in. A couple of catchweight fights on here. Julija Stoliarenko, Chelsea Chandler at 140. And John Castaneda and Daniel Santos at 140. So if you're just looking at the weigh-in results and you see some that look odd, look a little heavy to you, that's why. Yeah, I'm with you, Nick. Let's go with Slava Claus. That's a little bit easier. Justin H., what's going on? What's up? Yeah, Richard Aspen lad. That was a shame. You know, the thing and she hasn't done any interviews yet, and I know that she'll talk about it eventually. The thing I don't understand is why would you not just go to 45? And I'm sure that was discussed. And that was a situation where her and her team were like, no, we're not amenable to going to 145. We believe we're a bantamweight. And that's the point the UFC said, you're not? I don't know. I haven't heard the full details on that. But that's the question that needs to be asked, right? Was 45 an offer? And then if 45 was an offer, then what are we doing at 45? So that's kind of the details that matter. But, you know, Aspen Lad, you know, I see a lot of people saying PFL. It'd be interesting to see what PFL, because, you know, Kayla Harrison has come out and kind of said, I don't think I'm going to do the season next year, which I think does make sense. You know, if she wins this final, she wins it 3 times, you know, I don't think that she's necessarily going to feel the need to do it again. And it's tough. You know, 4 fights in a year is a lot, especially as a mom, the way she is and everything she's got going on. 4 fights is a lot. So she's kind of said, and the other thing being, you know, in the season format, you don't have control over the opponents, right? I mean, you do in terms of, you know, the initial matchups, but then the playoffs just fall out the way they do. I know she was really disappointed to lose, like, the Bud matchup, for instance, due to injury. And I think she'd like a little bit more control over who she faces because, you know, now she's done enough. She wants to answer those questions, you know, and face the biggest opponent she can. You know, she wants to put together a cyborg fight or whatever the case may be. So you can't do that if you're in the season format. So anyway, the reason I go through all that is, you know, I've seen a lot of people say Aspen Lad to the PFL, but I'm kind of curious to see, do they do a women's lightweight or women's featherweight? Maybe they go to featherweight. If Kayla's not around, maybe they do a women's division and they do featherweight instead. And Lad can't come in and be a featherweight. But we'll see. I just remember that, I guess, when you're thinking about the scenarios, is that's probably going to change a little bit. And Nick, my understanding is she's got about a year left. So we'll see. Yeah, Yoel had a great performance. And that was funny. I mentioned Shaquille O'Neal earlier this week. I talked to him. Yoel Romero was one of the people he mentioned as a friend of his, which I had no idea that those guys like hung out or whatever. But he said Shaq was talking about the health of mixed martial arts as a whole, and he's like, man, he's like, the UFC's killing it. He's like, you got other promotions. I won't mention their name out of respect to Dana. He's like, but my buddy Yoel Romero got a win last week. I was like, wow, okay. I had no idea. I'll look at the Anik and Florian podcast hopping in. Anik and Florian podcast, ears must have been buzzing when John Anik dropped the product placement here during the weigh-ins. Cody Merrow in the house. Always good to see Cody Merrow. What's happening, brother? Let's see. Scott said, especially when she can make tens of millions for fighting the UFC, in my opinion. I will say that from the reports I've heard, Kaylee gets paid pretty damn well in the PFL. She gets a much more sizable paycheck than what is published in terms of the actual bonuses, or the actual payouts, I should say, for the tournament structure. It's interesting. I'm a big Kayla Harrison fan. You know, how big of a star would she be in the UFC? I think big, you know. Tens of millions might be much. I mean, look, the Connors of the world, the Habibs of the world, like obviously they made significant, but you know, the payouts are a lot higher than the published ones you see. I'll scroll up a little bit, see what I missed while everybody was weighing in. Oh, Scott lost a bunch of parlays, had to reach in some parlays. Yeah, obviously, I was going to be pulling for Jessica Penne in that matchup. You know, obviously, had a chance to work with her a little bit in CFFC when she was on her hiatus, and hopefully work with her again in the future. I'd have been pulling for her, but that was a tough matchup. Tabitha Ricci's no joke.
Other than like, okay,
Dunkin' French Vanilla, all right. I've got the UFC Apex standard black coffee in white styrofoam cup. Yeah, Cody, you know, if Amanda retires. I mean, I would like to see Amanda and Kayla fight. I want to see Kayla and Amanda, and I want to see Kayla and Cyborg. I mean, that's it. I want to see it. But, I mean, if you go back and listen to the interviews, I mean, I know I've talked to Kayla on a handful of occasions about it, and it was always extremely respectful. You know what I mean? She even went out of her way to say, like, look, this is not going to be like, obviously Amanda's no longer at American Top Team, but she, Kayla would always go out of her way to say, look, this is not going to be a Colby Jorge type situation. You know, we're not. This is just professional competition, and we're going to do this right.
Did you say Cody Merrow's on there? Yo, big time. What's up,
Cody Merrow's in the house. Cold Coffee giving a shout out to Cody Merrow. Cold Coffee doesn't talk with his viewers. They don't do that at that other place. They don't have that personal touch that we have here.
No personal touch. Yeah, touch him all.
Oops.
Personal touch.
Oh, there is the personal touch. It's an inappropriate touch.
It is. Do not place your phone in your lap.
Ooh. Well, Nick, I agree. Cyborg Nunes again. I'd like to see that again. All right, Jeff Mullen back in place. Looks like we're about to. Oh, I see Sadiq Youssef. Then as soon as Sadiq's done, I'll give the shout out to Heidi Dean. Heidi's involved in the conversation. I don't want to interrupt.
All right, next fighter to the scale is the 12th ranked UFC featherweight contender, Super Sadiq Youssef.
$145 and a half.
145 and a half, the official weight for Sadiq Youssef.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Looks like Guido Kennedy's coming up next.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the UFC's bantamweight division, Guido Kennedy. Official weight 135.5 for Guido Kennedy.
Hi, Dean, getting a shout out in the chat from Cody Merrill.
Oh, she ignored me. Sorry, Cody. She's showing somebody some pictures on her computer. I'll pass it again. Ah, yes, Guido Kennedy. Well pointed out there. I looked at the odds. Let's take a look at the odds here. Well, looks like Mackenzie's moving up as a favorite. I tend to agree. I think, I mean, obviously it's kind of a clash in styles in the main event. Jan Shaonon is going to want to keep it standing, of course. But I think her aggression may kind of work against her, especially over 5 rounds, and give Mackenzie Dern those opportunities to grapple. And we saw Jan Shaonon struggle with that against Carlos Esparza. So, what else? Randy Brown, significant favorite. Oni Barcelos. Sadiq Youssef, minus 1,000. No respect for the newcomer in Don Sheamus, but understandable. Newcomer against a ranked contender. You can expect some wild odds. It is an MMA fight. All right, then the middle section gets pretty competitive. John Castaneda, small favorite. Mike Davis, that Mike Davis Slaviclaws fight, that could be an absolute banger. Ilir Latifi, slight favorite over Alexi Olynyk. I tend to agree with that. Obviously, we know now that Ricci and Penne is off. Joachim Silva, small favorite. Jotko now, almost a dead heat. Could be a very competitive matchup as well. Maxime Grishin, small favorite. Chandler and Stoliarenko almost a pick 'em. Randy Costa, big favorite over Guido Kennedy as well. Ooh, yeah, Dern. I like Dern by sub. Cody Merrill says maybe Dern by TKO. Dern by sub, minus 110. Crazy. Whew, O'Malley or Jan, my goodness. Oh, Dern by TKO, plus 1,000. Oof. Yeah, I might throw a little something on that. O'Malley or Jan. Oh, my goodness, man. I'm looking forward to that one. All right. Got to pick it right now. I think I go Jan. But O'Malley has a chance to do this. I think O'Malley has the speed, the creativity, but I think about the pressure from Jan. You know, he's not going to just stand there and get. I love that fight. I think I'm going Jan, though, right now, but check the odds on that one. Pull that up. Some of these futures here. Scroll down. Wow. Jan is minus 380. Sean O'Malley plus 310. Whew, I see it as way more competitive than that. Man, is that just public disrespect? How's the line moved on that? Let me see the history here. Wow, so Sean opened as a plus 210, and it's gotten bet to a plus 310. Jeez. That surprises me. odds for O'Malley there. I don't know if that's just public disrespect. It's crazy. Let's see. Cody says that algae line is tasty too. Let's see. Let me see that one as well. Where's that one on here?
He's just not. And I just think, you know,
Algae a slight favorite. Dilshaw a slight dog. Habib in the corner of Bilal Muhammad. That's pretty cool to see. Colossus says Kayla Cyborg's 50-50. Yeah, to be honest, I do think Kayla Cyborg's 50-50. Clear advantages for each. All right, looks like we're getting back to action. But yeah, to me, that's a 50-50. And that's why I want to see it. That's why I want to see it. Could Cyborg come in there and piece her up? Maybe. Cyborg is dangerous. But if Kayla gets a hold of her, can she throw her down? Hold her there? I think so.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the featured prelim at heavyweight, Ilir Latifi. .253, the official weight for the sledgehammer, Ilir Latifi.
.253 for the absolute brick of a human being in Ilir Latifi. My goodness. Yeah, Chrissy J says tank of a man. I was like, that is a fire hydrant right there. Yeah. So House says, okay, they're going to leave the PFL. I think, the PFL wants to keep her, obviously. That's Colossus there. She was a free agent. She signed a Bellator contract. So my understanding is she thought she was gone. But PFL had a matching right, and they did it. And my understanding is the Bellator contract was really good and had some things in there that they didn't think PFL would match, and the PFL did because they realized, obviously that's one of the faces of their promotion. Kayla gets a ton of mainstream media attention because of her history. Obviously 2 Olympic gold medals is a big deal. So, I think will she leave after another year? I think she'll stay if she can get the fight she wants. It's really important to her. She's, from everything I've heard, she's basically financially good at this point. Obviously, you can always stack a little bit more money. Nobody's going to complain about some extra paychecks here and there, especially when you got kids and you got to prepare for their future. But she really wants the biggest fights possible. She wants to go down as the greatest ever, and she wants no questions about it. So, well said, Cody. Well said. All right, JRH looking for the weigh-in update. Well, it looks like Jeff Mullen's coming back, but we don't have many left. But Mackenzie Dern is one of those we do still have to weigh in. Don Shane is still left. Alexi Olynyk still left. Felipe Lens and Chelsea Chandler. Oh, back to action. So we'll see if we can knock out a few of these.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing at a catch weight of 140 pounds, Chelsea Chandler.
Right here.
140 pounds, the official weight for Chelsea Chandler.
One. Same weight.
John Castillo. No Mark Zuckerberg sightings yet. No Zuckerberg sightings yet. Guess that comes tomorrow. We'll watch on TV like you guys. Yeah, I think Clarissa Shields is supposed to be on that fight as well. I see Nick asking about that. Cody Merrill chiming in. I heard they're trying to get Clarissa Shields on there as well. Cyborg is a free agent. Yeah. Yeah, I talked to Cyborg right before her boxing match, and she said that, that was one of the reasons she took the boxing match in Brazil is because she doesn't have a contract with Bellator right now. But she did say, I feel confident that I'll sign with Bellator. She doesn't want to sign anywhere. She likes working with Scott Coker. So she wants to work with Bellator. So I think she'll sign a deal there. Look, I hope they can figure out a way to do Cyborg Kayla. I know it's tough. The thing is, it's hard, right? And there's more than just when you think about co-promoting a fight. There's so much that goes into it that, in terms of okay, first of all, where does it air, right? So who gets the broadcast rights to it? They both have broadcast partners, okay? The PFL and Bellator, both of them are going to have broadcast rights. Okay, so maybe you say, oh, well, we'll co-promote it. Well, we'll air it on both networks, all right? Or probably want to be a pay-per-view at that, right? So then where does the revenue go? But then you just get into all this stuff well, we have, these advertiser contracts. So whose logos are on the mat, Well, who's the, you know what I mean? It's just, there's so much more minutia involved in making something like that happen than just let's figure out what Kayla needs to get paid, let's figure out what Cyborg needs to get paid, and let's do this. And it's kind of annoying, how much red tape, I guess you would say, that has to be maneuvered through, but it's just very real. You have advertisers that are paying big money, and then you put a huge fight together and they don't get featured. All right, Mackenzie Dern in the house.
Next fighter to the scale, the woman around whom this fight card was built, the 5th-ranked UFC strawweight contender, Mackenzie Dern.
Not there. That's the other. It always makes me nervous. You got this.
115 and a half.
115 and a half, the official weight for Mackenzie Dern. Your UFC Fight Night main event is now official.
Thank you, baby.
All right, there you go. Main event is official. See if we got anybody else coming. We got a little break. Maybe back to a little bit of break. Let's see here. Since Penne is off the card, can you comment on what your favorite type of pasta is? Well done, John Castillo. Well done. I see Nick Bernard says Marlin versus Burgers won't be a banger. Ooh. Good point, Cody.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the light heavyweight division, Felipe Lens.
$205 and a half.
205 and a half, the official weight for Felipe Monstro Lens.
Okay. Thought we were getting back to action there. Somebody's going to have to go wake up Alexi Olynyk. You know he's just chilling right now. So if you're wondering, yeah, right now we're just waiting on the newcomer, Jan Shaonon, and Alexi Olynyk. Alexi Olynyk is probably, I'm guessing, sleeping somewhere.
Not yet.
Danny Lopez.
What's up, Jay?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
See you, handsome. You all right?
Appreciate you.
I just
Is the
shaved my-
featherweight division active? Yeah, Young Spicy is crazy, right? Like, I don't understand what they're doing with 145. I just don't, and that's no disrespect. It's just, are you building it or are you not? You know, like, it's you got the, you know, the division listed on your page. You don't even have enough fighters to rank. You know, so I just don't get it. I mean, I guess it's a good marketing tool for Amanda Nunes to have 2 belts. But I don't know. It's just weird to me. Shawnee, happy Friday to you. Yeah, Cody, Alexi's back there teaching people the Ezekiel choke. Yeah, Nick, what did Chixon say? I remember she said that she thought more fighters should fight their, like, move, like, fight up and down. But see, I remember saying that she thought more fighters should fight up and down and do both because they could fight more frequently if they fought at 45. And that is true. But then that starts getting weird. And I see it too, like, you know, like rankings and stuff. Like, what do you do? So if somebody's picks up a win at 45, does that impact their rankings at 35? Like, that's why the UFC hates doing, like, catchweight fights and, you know, when people fight out of their division. Because what does it mean? What is the result of it actually? What does it impact? How does it change things, you know? John Castillo. Appreciate you as well. No losing the H, though. No losing the H. Hopefully you have a good work day, my man. Chrissy J. Does anybody play UFC? Are they like, does Bo Nickel and Raul Rosas, are they like already there? Or does it like take some time to get them updated? I haven't played that game in forever. I should probably play with my kid a little bit. Yeah, Nick. That's what I remembered her saying. But hopefully, you heard my little spiel about. But I like the idea because I do like the idea of fighters being able to fight more frequently, right? I mean, the more frequently they fight, the more frequently they get paid. So that's a good thing. But it does kind of screw things up in terms of what does it mean in the division and all that. UFC 4 is awesome until someone learns the takedowns. So once somebody can take you down, it's like impossible to stop. I played a little bit when it first came out. My kid immediately loved Mark Diakiese. Loves the red mohawk. He was like, thought that was cool. Shawnee says, I don't like the EA's UFC game. Still play UFC Undisputed 3 from 2012. Damn, that's funny. Didn't EA do the Strikeforce game like years and years ago? Or wasn't, what did it call? It was just called like EA MMA, right? And it had like the Strikeforce fighters in it. I feel like that one, I kind of remember that one being fun. I don't play a lot of video games much anymore. Scott McCray with the Rings of Power cosplay group. All right. It does sound like a euphemism. Yeah, I played a little bit of Undisputed or UFC 4 when it first came out. I don't play a ton of games. I'll probably get, I think the new FIFA came out today. I'll probably get that. Play with my kid a little bit. Yeah, this guy was really funny. I feel like that game was good when it came out. That EA. Chris, you still looking for a PS5? My goodness. I got super lucky. Super lucky. I got one like a couple months after it came out. But it was funny. I woke up in the middle of the night. I was sleeping. I woke up to go take a pee in the middle of the night, and I was like, let me just check. I found one online at Best Buy, but it was in Texas. So I actually had to ask my 75-year-old dad to go to the Walmart, or no, it was a Best Buy. I can't remember if it was Best Buy or what. I think it was a Best Buy. I had to ask him to go to Best Buy and pick it up for me and ship it to me in Vegas. And then my dad was talking to the guy and was hearing like how much they were going for. He's like, bro, if you can buy some more of these, we can sell these. And I'm like, man, it was too much of a pain in the ass to find one. All right, who gets the title shot first? Ketlin Aldana, Valentina, or Norma Dumont? Yeah, got to have Nunes. Well, I think they got to have Nunes in Brazil. I mean, you know you're going to have the flyweight title fight on there, but you got to think Nunes would be on there too. So Norma, I guess. Do Norma 45 in Brazil? I think I might have to make it down to Rio for that one. It's been a while since I've been to Brazil. I might have to head down there. I like Rio. Sitting on the beach, drinking a cheap beer. Ice cold Antarctica. Oh, expected $120 billion in damages in Florida. Wow. I haven't got a chance to really look at all that stuff. I did see some of those just, what was it, Fort Myers, I guess? It was just like completely underwater. Crazy. Yeah, Valentina sitting in the wings without a fight or a contender. Yeah, that's the problem with that division. I mean, she's just done so much damage, right? I still think that when Tyler comes back, I think you got to give her a fight, like right away. I don't think she needs to win another one. I know she's got to recover and all that, but once she comes back, I think you got to give her a rematch right away. Valentina Amanda 3 in Brazil. I don't know. I feel like Valentina. I mean, I know Valentina started to talk about it a little bit more as of late, but it just seems like, you know, she almost won. I mean, why does she need to go up and weight? But I guess, I mean, there's nobody. She's been dominating for so long. Although that last one was maybe a wake-up call. Justin. I am not a hardcore FIFA guy, like one of these like masters of the game that know all the skill moves and can put. Nah, I don't. I'm not. I'm a casual FIFA, but I do. To be honest, I love soccer. Like I'm really looking forward to the World Cup. Last night, my kid had 2 practices. We went straight from jiu-jitsu to soccer practice. We go to Las Vegas Lights games. I'm hoping we get an MLS team here at some point. I actually really do like soccer. I played like all the way through high school, so I would say I'll say that I am looking forward to the World Cup, but I am not expecting the United States to do very well. Unfortunately, a couple friendlies they've had lately have not been looking good. Yeah, my known if she beats Chukagian. I mean, you have to, right? You have to give it that. I think that's probably what we're waiting on with Valentina. I mean, it's still early in her career, but I think you beat Chukagian number 1. I mean, she's number 1, right? She's there. You beat Chukagian, you get a title shot. That's how it goes. But I think, Manon being a fresh face as well in the division, an opponent that she hasn't already faced, and being a physical force, I think absolutely. Shawnee, I'm okay with fighters in the division. Try to be this in the division. Certain match. Yeah. To me, and obviously, Conor McGregor was the one that really ushered in the era of the champ and the two division thing. But to me, like when I think greatness is dominance over division for a long time, not being the best in division on a night. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to take away from Conor McGregor by any stretch. Obviously, his story, his rise to the top, unbelievable, incredible. The things that he did, iconic, superstar. But when I think of all-time greats, I think of people that dominate a division for years. Your George St. Pierre's, your Anderson Silvas, your John Jones, your Demetrius Johnsons. And it's kind of a catch-22, right? Because then people say the division's weak, or they don't get excited for the fight. So I get that part of it, and I think you touched on it there, the money part of it, right? Where people go like, I'm not tuning into that. Like, I already know who's going to win. But I think that's how you measure, like, greatness is dominance over a duration of time. I guess maybe, I don't know. I guess maybe I'd be more intrigued with Valentina, man, if we hadn't seen it already. I think maybe, if they had just been doing what they've been doing in their respective divisions and we had never seen it, I think I'd be more like, we got to see it. I don't know. What's up, man, in black? Thoughts on Bo Nickel? Dude, I think the dude is really good. I mean, the dude is a talent. You talk to anybody that sees him in the room, they'll tell you, like, next level. And this is not people that just, it's one thing for a manager to tell you how good somebody is. Like, okay, of course they're going to tell you their guy's great. But when you talk to the people that see him and work alongside him, and they'll tell you how great he is. You talk about people that, really followed his collegiate wrestling career closely, they'll tell you how good he is. And he looks amazing. I think he's got the base. I think he could be competitive right now with anybody in the top 15. Now, do I think he'd steamroll them or he'd absolutely win, or he's a surefire champion right now? No, I think it's too early to say that. He's still developing. We haven't seen much of his striking. I mean, what we have seen has been effective, but we haven't seen much of it. But the tools are there. I mean, so, I think I'm somewhere, there's some people that are already declaring him a champion. I'm not. But there's other people trying to say, hype train, this is the latest. Nah, dude is not a hype train. He's a beast. And I'm excited to see what he does, man. I'm counting me in to follow his career for sure, man. GM3 versus Bo Nickel. I heard some people saying that might be the next matchup. GM3, they give him everybody, right? Scott McCrate. Bellator was good this weekend, man. I really like this Bellator card. It's hard to pick against Pitbull. But Boris has what it takes to win that fight. It's a very competitive matchup. I'm looking forward to it. I actually was going to go to Long Beach. I was going to go cover that card, actually, because it's a good one, man. I'm excited for it. But true story, my wife told me no. There is a movie night at school that I had promised to take my son to because she has to work it. So the only way to do it would have been if I drove down there tomorrow. I didn't really feel like driving all the way down there and then having the fights, and it's a long day. So I watched it on TV. Anthony Smith said Bo can out-wrestle Hamza any day of the week. I don't disagree with that. I think it'd be fun to watch. Especially the longer it went. I think it'd be incredibly competitive. I'd love to see it. Ooh, Colby versus Shamaya who wins. Colby's tough, man. Look, all the garbage aside, you know, Colby's good, really good. And people like to dismiss his skills because they don't like his personality, but he's good. Ooh, Shavkat in there as well. Shavkat versus Shamaya. That'd be a great fight. Yeah, Scott, that's it, man. Got to keep the family happy. Got to keep the family happy. Yeah, I'm kind of torn on this Shamaya at 170 thing. I know Dana kind of mentioned it the other day at Contender Series that they're having a back and forth in the matchmaker's room as well. It's not that he's repeatedly failed, but that miss was so bad. And then it was just, you know, I don't know, the flippant attitude about it. I don't know. I guess if you're going to do welterweight, you do it now because he's going to get older and, you know, bigger, you would think. And maybe had more trouble later on. Yes, Angel, that is true. Man in Black, you know which one was it? No, I saw that yesterday where he's teasing an announcement, MMA-related announcement. I have not heard. Seems weird to make that announcement right before you box. That's Young Spicy. That's well said. That's well said. Is it unhealthy for him? You know, it was a bad for him to try to make 170. That's the question. You know, fighter safety, obviously, health, long-term health. Got to put that first. And I know that some of the story has been, oh, well, the doctors were the one that shut it down. Well, the doctors shut it down for a reason, right? And let's be honest, the doctors were called in because the team was concerned for a reason. So I guess, you know, those guys have to make a decision on what they want to do and how they want to handle it. Safety first. That's it. Who should Umar Nurmagomedov fight next? Let's see. I mean, at this point, he's got to fight somebody in the rankings, right? What matchup would I enjoy the most? And Jack Shore, but that would be technically fighting down. Ricky Simon. Maybe give him a veteran and Pedro Munoz. Somewhere in there. Somewhere in there. I don't want to see him against, like, I was looking at the rankings, like, I mean, obviously Sean O'Malley's got a number one contender fight. You got Frankie Edgar in there. Don't really want to see that. Song Yudong. Probably looking for, well, he's going to be out for a little while first. And plus, he's going to be looking to kind of rebuild a little bit. Shore, Simone, or Munoz. Throw out some names. For Shamaya, aren't you chomping at the bit to go to 185? Yeah. I'd put him in 185. If I was him, I'd put him in 185. It is, as you said, it's a good matchup against the champ at 85. Again, if it's going to allow you to fight more frequently, if it's going to allow you to, fight in a healthy manner, I mean, I think you just go to middleweight, unless you're making wholesale changes. You can't just fight 70 and be like, we'll just do better. You got to make wholesale changes. Nick, I know that Frankie is trying to get on that card in MSG, but I have not heard that he's booked yet. But I know he really wants to fight there. Angel, I love that matchup with Adrian Yanez and Song Yudong. I just think Song's going to be out for a while, right? I think they said having some. I mean, obviously you saw the damage that he took there. That's going to take a while to heal. So, do you think you get an interview with Amanda Lemos before her next fight? Sure, we could. Do you think Nate Diaz and Eddie Alvarez will sign with Bellator? Nate Diaz, I do not. Eddie Alvarez, I feel like that's a PFL move. Maybe. We'll see. Chrissy J, I agree. Yeah, I don't think Kevin Holland's actually retired. I think he's. I mean, if he is, good for him, right? If he came in, thanks for the cheese, head out, good for him, right? But I don't think so. I think he quits again. Usman will beat Pitbull and become champ. Don't disagree with you there. Usman's legit as well. Got some Nurmagomedov doing some damage, huh? Gary, they're not protecting Izzy. Come on now, you don't believe that. All right. The Honorable Jeff Mullen is heading back to the scale. Sounds like we will see Alexi Olynyk next. Yeah, Angel, I thought he won that fight too, if I'm being honest with you. I thought Armand won that last fight.
All right, next fighter to the scale, competing in the UFC's heavyweight division, Alexi Olynyk.
Right here, let's
254, the official weight for Alexi Olynyk.
I don't know what it is about Alexi Olynyk that cracks me up. It's like every time he's up there, it's like it's the first time he's ever weighed in. It just makes me laugh. All right, so now we're just waiting on Don Sheamus. Young Spicy, the man finished breakfast. That's it. Alexi Olynyk wrapped up breakfast, came on in, weighed in. So that leaves us now with just Don Sheamus to weigh in, the newcomer, stepping in on short notice. Hopefully not an incredibly difficult weight cut for him. Yeah, that some madness is gonna happen in Latifi and Olynyk. Something weird's gonna happen. You just know it. Two powerhouses for sure. So 57 minutes remaining. Just one fighter left to weigh in, and Don Sheamus. I did see Sean Shelby walking around earlier, so perhaps if Mr. Sheamus is able to make weight soon, perhaps we'll get the face-offs a little earlier than normal. But if not, we'll hang around and chat some MMA until it's time to go. Angel, oh, you're late? Yeah, if you're just tuning in. You missed all but one person to weigh in. But you've made it in time to watch Don Sheamus. So, not all is lost. Plus, we'll have the face-offs. Yeah, Young Spicy. The doctors don't check on the fighters just because. So, yeah, the doctors were called in because the team was concerned about what was going on. They had to check them out. And then that's the hard part is, like, once the doctors get involved, like, you already know what they're going to say. I mean, no doctor in their right mind is going to be like, no, I know you just passed out, but you can probably keep cutting. Nah, they're not going to. But yeah, to answer your question directly, no, the doctors aren't there by default, but they were called in. Scott McCray won on Prime. Yeah, loving to see that. Smooth product, looks good. The last one I watched on replay, because I was calling a CFFC fight, but I pulled it up right away, nice and smooth. Stream was nice, looked sharp. I didn't understand why they had the extra dude on commentary. Like, I think Chevelle does a good job. I know that some people think that he's maybe over the top or whatever, but man, he knows the product. He's passionate about it. So I didn't understand why they necessarily had to have a different broadcaster, but I guess that's a Prime Video thing. But I'm looking forward to tonight. I'll have it pulled up on my phone tonight. I'll be at the movie night with my kid. Oh, he's got a soccer game first at 6, and then as soon as we leave the soccer game, then we go to movie night at school. And I'll have Amazon Prime Video pulled up on my phone. Yeah, next pay-per-view is going to be legit, man. Got a couple weeks until that. Got an off week next week for the UFC. But CFFC's on, so if you want to tune in to UFC Fight Pass next Saturday night, I think Punk is back. I'm not sure yet. I usually don't know until the week of if Punk's working or not. But we got a heavyweight title fight in the main event. CFFC 113 will be in Parks Casino in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, just outside of Philly. So check us out next week. Andrew, you're late. What'd you miss? You missed all but Don Sheamus. But still have the face-offs to come. But yeah, waiting on Don Sheamus at this point. Mackenzie Dern, Jan Shaonon, each at 115.5. The bout between Jessica Penne and Tabitha Ricci was called off just at the start of weigh-ins. Penne, illness was the culprit, according to the announcement made by John Anik. Thank you, Chrissy. Appreciate it.
I need to take a seat after hearing that. I mean, that's terrible. I couldn't believe it when it's at school Thursday for my kids. Like my wife, like it's like out and about. Everyone go. So you're doing all these internationals?
I was seeing some movement over there, but it looks like no, still waiting. So again, 53 minutes left. No reason to panic just yet. But hopefully Don Shamus is doing okay. I haven't. No, he stepped in on short notice, so always got to be a little understanding there of maybe a bit of a challenge. Can't wait to watch the heavyweights, Andrew says. Well, Latifi and Olynyk. Yeah, there you go. I love Olynyk and Latifi. Can't spell their names. I don't blame you. Those are challenging. But yeah, there's definitely going to be some chaos there. Hey, look, I think it's going to be a fun card. I think Mike Davis and Slavic Claus, I think that should be an absolute banger. You know, Jaime Barcelos and Trevin Jones could be fun. Randy Brown, Francisco Trinaldo could be fun. I mean, there's a lot of fights in here that could be a lot of fun, so we'll see. I'll be watching it from my office. It's just like all you guys tuning into ESPN Plus, since we got no media in the building tomorrow. Yeah, Shawnee was pretty fast. We had a chance to be done real early. Like I said, Sean Shelby's in the building, so we could potentially get face-offs done early, but still one fighter left to weigh in, of course. Saw Till training at All-Star. Is he officially done with this team in England? I don't know. I can't imagine he'd be complete. I could be wrong, but I can't imagine he'd be completely done. I know he's pretty tight with those guys. But maybe they can switch it up a little bit. Cross-train. Alex, tragic that Baby Shark isn't fighting. Yeah, like I said earlier, I was going to be pulling for Jessica Penne. Obviously, part of the CFSC family during her hiatus. But we all knew it was going to be a tough matchup. Yeah, I agree, Andrew. I think definitely a sleeper card. Definitely could be fun. Busy weekend, though, man, right? I mean, we got one championship tonight on Prime Video. You got a great Bellator card tomorrow as well, which I think the way the timing works out, the Bellator main card should be just after this main card. So I think you can watch both, which is cool. Even if you obviously if you can two-screen it, if you got that luxurious setup, then two-screen it. But if not, you can at least catch one right after the other. And then BKFC tomorrow night as well. Ben Rothwell making his debut over there at BKFC. That'll be fun to see. Latifi robbed against Lewis. Says too short notice for Penne with her age and damage she sustained. Should have seen it coming. You're saying should have seen the illness coming? Shiny cardboard cutouts. That'd be great. That would be pretty funny, actually. Shawnee, that would crack me up a little bit if they had cardboard cutouts of all the media members sitting there. That'd be funny. So supposedly what we heard is that the UFC staff is going to do a little bit longer. They usually do like really kind of brief post-fight interviews with the fighters, but I guess they're going to do kind of longer post-fight interviews and then send that footage out to everybody so that, if you need post-fight interviews with people, it's available. I think that's kind of the current working plan. I think the only thing that'd be sad is if like you got somebody that retires or something like that, and then you don't have an opportunity to speak to them on their way out. But Alex, I actually thought about it. I was actually, even before the no media thing here, I was thinking about going to Bellator. because I love that card, and it's close. You know, it's in California, so it's not far. So I was actually thinking about going down there, but family plans stepped in the way, so I'm just going to be kicking it in Vegas tomorrow. But I'll definitely be tuned in. I think this card tomorrow for Bellator is really good. I'm really excited for it. John Morgan cut out with a howler head. John Morgan cut out with a howler head bottle would be better. Andrew, that's right. We're building. We're building slowly but surely, baby. We're building. We're building. Nick's an official Howlerhead ambassador. How about that? Well, thank you, Nick. Where's the goodies at? Where's the goodies at? Angel said, I wonder if Dern's striking and takedown offense improved. Worried that she's going to get lit up on the feet. I mean, I think Dern's striking is getting better. But I agree with you. I don't think she'd be wise. I mean, Jan even said it. Jan Shaonon said it going in. She's like, look, I think she's going to strike just enough to set up her grappling. And I would agree with that. Like, Dern's striking is getting better. There's no question about it. But I don't think it would be wise for her to stand and trade with Jan Shaonon. And you mentioned her takedown offense. She doesn't, as you know, obviously she doesn't have like a great power double, or she struggles sometimes. But I do think the fact that Jan Shaonon is likely going to be moving forward means that she'll have opportunities to create like some scrambles and get the kind of grappling that she likes, which is, like I said, creating scrambles and creating transitions, not necessarily just driving through for a big takedown. So for that reason, I like Dern in this fight. When we've seen Jan Shaonon have some struggles on the ground, and I think this fight will end up there. I agree, Alex. I agree. And a very competitive fight last time out, right? Very competitive fight last time out. I was a little surprised to see the odds as skewed as they are. But at the same time, like, I do lean towards Mackenzie Dern for the reasons we just said. So it's kind of weird to me. Like, I guess part of me, just knowing that mixed martial arts is such a wild and at times unpredictable sport. Like, anytime I start seeing people get up around, like, minus 300 or something, I start thinking, wow, like, how can you even have it that way in any matchup? You know what I mean? I guess there's some that just completely one-sided, but, Dern at minus 230 and when it opened up, like, minus 185 and keeps getting bet up, and that did seem a little surprising to me. But, again, if I'm sitting here saying, well, that's the person I would pick too, then it makes sense. But when you start seeing the skew, you do start going, maybe Jan as a dog might make some sense. If she can sprawl and brawl a little bit, Yeah, Angel's saying it should be a pick 'em. I think it's more competitive than the odds currently are. Hey, John, my man, who's the best value dog on the night? Gotta bet my rent. Well, first of all, don't bet your rent. But, all right, let's take a look. Who like his dogs here? Anybody got some dog picks that they like? Slava Claus as a dog is a little bit intriguing given Mike Davis's history. Olynyk as a dog is always intriguing just because he can submit anybody. Brendan Allen is basically even money, so you can't really call that a dog, but that's intriguing. Oh, anybody got a surefire dog that they like? There's nothing better than seeing a matchup that you think the odds are wrong, right? That's the absolute best.
My whole thing is like I'm gonna see whether it's social media or management. Every time I upload something.
Let's see what we got here. Moots likes Jotko as a dog. I mean, that's basically even. That is a pick a match to do. Jotko and Allen. Brendan Allen inside the distance. Okay. Yeah, a lot of Slavic class. Otis, Don Sheamus is the one person left. Ooh, Alex says Kennedy sleeps Costa. Kennedy's a pretty big dog too, right? Yeah, if you like that one, you get plus 240 on it. I'm sure if you got it by knockout, let's see. Yeah, you can get Kennedy by TKO for plus 500. So if you want to really get, depending on how much you're feeling that, you can get some nice odds on that one. Yeah, Moats, I agree. Trevin Jones is a dog too. Kind of I'll say unpredictable, but Scott McCray likes Borix over on the Bellator card at plus odds. And I agree. I think Borix has a really good chance of winning that fight. Thomas Kane, the Ricci fight is off, I hate to tell you. Jessica Penne illness was to blame, and it was canceled just at the start of the weigh-in. So, sorry, Thomas Kane. I feel we may have ruined your morning. No, Nick Bernard says Costa by KO in the first. Angel, that is an absolute shame, is it not? How's Guido Kennedy not Italian? Yeah, well, this Penne Ricci, the only one to get canceled. Yeah, fortunately, Thomas, that was announced right off the top of the weigh-ins, just as we were ready to get started. So at this point, we're just waiting on Don Sheamus. Trinaldo versus Rude Boy has decision written all over it.
Right. Yeah.
44-year-old Francisco Trinaldo, crazy.
So this dude that got fired.
Oh, Angel had Penne winning by sub. Obviously, not going to matter since the fight's not going to happen, but Masarandu Penne by sub. I bet you could have gotten something nice on that. Trevin has crazy power and good wrestling. He's not injured anymore. Barcelos has been showing his age lately, so I think Trevin could be a good bet. Yeah. I don't think it's a bad underdog bet either, to be honest with you. Ione says he's changed everything. He's had some kind of disappointing setbacks. So we'll see. Thomas Kane in real life, but 115ers are tiny. They are. They're small. Oh, hold on. Looking. I saw operations. No, it doesn't look like they had Don Sheamus yet. I thought maybe. Saw some ops people moving around there.
I'll sooner drink out of that.
38 minutes left at this point.
Yeah, that's a great.
Anybody seen any Don Shamus or James Krause updates on social media? This card has a ton of old fighters. Damn, we're calling Penne old now? Yaya, too?
But that's not, I don't like that.
Jessica Penne's 39. You're calling her old. Huh. Huh. Damn, Honey Yaya's 38. I thought he was older than that. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought Honey Yaya was older than that. 38. Scott, I think the lock of the night is Costa and Kennedy to not go the distance. I like that. That's a pretty good play. Get on that. Oh. Well, unfortunately, on Costa Kennedy to get won't go to a decision. I'm looking at minus 500. So the odds agree that that is a lock, my friend. Minus 500. I was like, you're dead on. I bet that doesn't go to a decision either. But I don't know if I'm laying 500 on it. Alex, I thought Yaya was 40 as well. That's why I was like, you're calling Penne old. She's not old. I was like, well, yeah, what's Yaya got to be 42, 43? No, he's 38. Crazy. Don Shamus looks so good against Jay Ellis. Yeah, you always have to be a little bit wary of a fighter's record when it has Jay Ellis on it. Has anybody ever interviewed Jay Ellis? Somebody has to have, right? For anybody that doesn't know, Jay Ellis is a bit of a an interesting fighter in terms of being 16 and 106. He is currently on a, oh, well, now he's doing some boxing as well, looks like. So I'm looking at Tapology. Oh, my goodness. So his last win was in 2021. Got a 49-second rear naked choke win, actually. And then before that, it was 2017. So surely somebody's interviewed this dude at some point. Like, why do you do this? And look, by the way, I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I want to make that clear. I truly have respect for anybody that steps in there and does this. But you just wonder at that point, like, I don't know. Why keep going? I think it'd be interesting. Yeah. Yeah, 106 losses, Angel. Alex, everyone is old to me until I hit that age. Yeah, I get it. My idea of old is much differently than it used to be, that's for sure. Yeah, Nick, that's a question too. Yeah, Mutz, it's but yeah, by the way, it's usually over pretty quick too. A lot of first round submission losses. Jessica Galante. Yeah, that's right. She had that video, right, where she was practicing being a ring car girl the other day. That's funny. Bet the house on Sadiq inside the distance. It's not a bad play, right? If it's taking this long, you got to assume the cut's not great. See what you can get on that. Solid point. Solid point. Let's see here. Because, I mean, obviously Sadiq is a massive favorite, a ranked fighter against a newcomer. Let's see. Boy, now that's interesting. So think about this. So, this is. As I'm about to say, I'm not a big gambler. I love looking at the lines. I don't play them just because I feel like if I do, I won't. It takes away my non-biased reporting of fights, my opinion. You know, I now have a bias. But this is smart. So if you do like Sadiq inside the distance, assuming that, this cut's kind of bad and it's going to drain on him. So Sadiq straight up, I'm looking at minus 975. But 500. Yusuf wins inside the distance minus 165. That's a huge change. It's a huge change. Scott McCrate. Check out the Jeffrey Dahmer story. Every now and then I'll find some time to watch some stuff late at night. I heard a lot of people are watching that. Horrific, yeah, horrific. I hate to say I'll put it on the list, but I've seen so many people that seem like they're really intrigued by it, so maybe I'll have to check it out. Okay, Alex says bet Sadiq first round. Let's see what he got. Sadiq round 1. Let's see here. Sadiq in round 1 plus 200. I mean, now you're getting plus money in a fight that you feel pretty confident in. It's a way to break it down. Good looking out, guys. Is the media going to the casino to watch fights? Nah, I think most of us are just watching from home. Most of us that live in Vegas don't go to the casinos that often unless we have like some friends in town or like you're going to a dinner, like a night out or whatever. I will say they are building a new station casinos really close to my house. Durango Station. So I am kind of excited about that. It looks almost, from the exterior footprint anyway, it looks almost exactly like Red Rock, which if you've ever been to Vegas and you can make it off the Strip and go to Red Rock, man, I love Red Rock. Most locals will tell you, like, Red Rock is probably their favorite casino, if not, one of their favorites. It's just really, really nice, cool layout, like I said, off the Strip, so it doesn't get the insane foot traffic or whatever, but it's cool. And so, yeah, Durango Station, I will be checking that one out once it opens up because it's like 10 minutes from my house. And definitely go to Dino's. Definitely go to Dino's if you're on the Strip. That's an awesome dive bar. If you want to get away from the $10 beers, go get you some $2.50 PBRs, where if you guess the suit of the card underneath the bottle top, you get it for free. So you can potentially order a round of drinks and get them completely free. What do you rate Paige Van Zant's picks on OnlyFans? Cold coffee. What we got going on? Tell us what's going on. Cold coffee, chime in.
Hey, people. You're beautiful. You're nice people. You're wonderful people. And that's it. I can't read the comments because I'm on the opposite side.
I can read that to you.
Who's got a question? AMA, ask me anything, except for a few things.
Oh, no. Anything.
Hot tea in a purple shirt coming over to model for us.
Get some hot tea as well.
We're taking over that. We're taking over the stream.
Is this an impromptu podcast?
It is. So what did you do last night, Hot tea?
Sweet FA, to be honest, mate. I worked out. I'd sparred with the amateurs at Extreme Couture because I'm a big deal.
Oh yes, Hot Tea's been got the invite to come visit and hang out at the amateur class.
I got my shit wrecked.
That's why us old people don't go to the amateur class.
This guy like hit my nose and I heard it crunch, and I was like, oh, I think you got me. And I thought that would mean he would stop hitting me in the nose, but actually he was just like, wow, blood everywhere. I was like, oh god.
Really?
Yeah.
Just riled him up even more.
He enjoyed himself.
You don't have to point the mic at me and picks up no matter what. Scott McRae wants to know if you have a fight booked yet, Hot Tea.
November 19th or 18th, is it? You're commentating.
19th or 20th, something like that.
Yeah, soon. I'm so over it. I'm so over it. Today I got like a little bit injured. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be so good if this could rule me out and I don't have to train anymore?
What did you do last night, Ken? Apart from smoke yourself into a stupor?
That's about it. I stayed home and it was good. You know, I've been enjoying the dispensary that's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So there's this sour diesel card.
wow.
Oh my lord! I thought it was a made-up name, but it's actually a bud strain prostituted for strains.
November 19th is the Airs on EA Sports, and November 20th is
There you go, sir.
So
November
you
19th.
gotta stay away from the weed though. You gotta keep your lungs in good order.
I don't like weed.
No.
But I'm surprised you're not growing your own and calling it the cold coffee.
Who says I aren't?
Yeah, before I I'd like to know what's your favorite women's division is.
Oh, the one where girls.
Lingerie fighting
I love
championship.
Adam. Well, Adam weight used to be fun, but I like straw weights. Straw weights. Adam weight's good though. Adam weight's good. Yeah. So. That was the first. I mean, well, maybe that was just because that was the first women's division that I was really.
Get rid of
I think
featherweight, you
got-
lose Danielle Wolf.
They do need to expand it, the lower weight classes instead of going up. It's a little tough to keep asking the women to go higher and higher because the pool of fighters is going to get less and less.
So when are you and Justin Gaethje hanging out?
Oh man, anytime he wants.
Buffalo
I don't think I could spunk and hang with him. I'd have to tap out.
Yeah.
He's a pro. I get all nervous and anxious. He just does his whole press conference.
You, Diaz, Gaethje, great night.
Diaz was so funny that last one. I was like, I told you yesterday, I was like, if he was always like, why did you guys just give him weed right from the get-go?
he's always funny post-fight. He was in New York, even after he lost to Masvidal, he was really funny as well.
Yeah.
When he was like, I like ballers and stuff like that. I think it's just like the anxiety of fight week's over and he's chill as fuck.
See, if I smoke too much weed, I could just get anxiety completely. Then I just sit down and I don't want to like just sit in the corner.
You don't have to. You don't have to smoke it.
I know.
Nick Bernard is enjoying the cannabis talk. And Florian podcast says, is known THC one of the main active cannabis oils in the herb, has anti-inflammatory properties that may help to soothe the lungs.
See?
There you go.
It is
Now, if we could just stop you injecting the other stuff, that'd be.
I've been trying to inject this THC in my penis. They tell me I'm doing it wrong.
Well, it does make me watch an atom weight's way better.
Maybe next time. Maybe you guys will do better next time. Who was that?
Who are we waiting on? Don.
Don Shane, the guy that carried the press media day the other day.
Yes, he did.
I think we should implement a new rule where if everyone else weighs in by a certain amount of time, you then have 15 minutes to weigh in.
Your last one, so sorry.
Yeah.
Clock's ticking.
Let's get Andre Arlovsky out of bed. Over him, he was another
Once
one.
Alexi Olynyk weighs in, you have
I was
to
going to
do
say,
it.
what's
Yeah.
I was just saying that.
If all the heavyweights on the card have weighed in and you haven't, you're in trouble.
I thought it was funny how he took his shirt off, but then he tucked it in the back of his shorts like he was like,
Right?
could have just left it on.
I was
if you
saying
wanted.
it cracks me up, like every time Alexi Olynyk goes in, it's like it's the very first time he's weighed in.
He's like looking at the scales, like, yeah.
How was your chick? got a bunch.
Extreme strong. Powerful.
Yeah. Especially for a card like this.
Fired up. Big thing. Yeah, I need to come to a BKC event soon.
Did you tell them if they come to town, we hang out with people that come to town to visit us?
That's right.
We went to B-Dubs the other night.
Come to Vegas. We'll chill with you. We'll have a good night.
Daniel.
You know, I haven't had a Buffalo Wild Wings for ages now.
I actually I had chicken tenders, which felt kind of weird getting chicken dinner. But it was good.
Uh-oh. You got moving? Don here? That's good.
Yeah.
Time to go. Don Shaonon is here. Final weigh-in set to go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Tomlin's not playing. You know, but I'm all for drafting first-round quarterbacks. You got to play them.
Are we talking fantasy spread?
We're talking, no, we're talking drafting a rookie quarterback.
And it's like, hang on, Don Shaonon. Let me finish up this fantasy football talk.
All right, our final athlete to weigh in this morning in the UFC's featherweight division, making his debut, Don Shaonon.
$146.
146, the official weight for Don Shaonon.
Straight ahead, baby, up here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job.
All right, we'll stare these fighters down in a few minutes.
All right, so no misses, although we do have one scratch. I'm going to switch out the lens real quick so the picture will die momentarily, but the stream will stay up. I'll switch to a wider lens for the face-offs. So. Y'all that have been around here, y'all familiar with this process.
Are you staying right there, or are you going to move out a little?
No, I'm sorry. Are you trying to move out?
That's fine. I would have, but it's fine.
It's weird, I'm not as wide as I usually am for some reason. Working on it. And we're back. Yeah, big man, I'll have to make it out to an event soon. Get him here. Oh, whoops. Had to get those little focus things off there.
Hey, Nick. So do you have any thoughts on what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, favorite event so far this year. My goodness. Let's see. Go back through the year. The ending of Salt Lake was pretty crazy. That was a good crowd. The ending of Salt Lake was nuts. Wasn't 277 in Dallas because I got stuck in a Memphis hotel room because my flight was canceled. All very Gaethje with the drama and the the co-main event. Obviously wasn't great, but the drama around that was pretty intriguing. Jacksonville's always good. Volkanovski looked phenomenal. Plus, you had the Sterling. Yeah. You know what? I'd probably say 273. Then you had the Hamzat Burns as the featured fight, the 2 title fights. 273 would that'd probably be it for me. What's poppin', Cali Gold? Good to see you. First London card was crazy. Yeah, Paris was nuts. Ortega versus Volk. Oh, Dylan Mack hit a 9-leg parlay. Nice. Thanks, Ben. Yeah. I'm trying to think. The schedule's busy the rest of the year, so it might end up being that next year. Although December's not that bad. October's not crazy. November's nuts. I do want to come out to one of those. But you guys come to Vegas. Big Ben. Have BKFC come to Vegas. How about that? Yeah, Edwards Usman, man. That was crazy, man. Obviously heartbreaking for Usman, to see the streak in, but that was crazy. Scott McCray, take it easy. Always good to see you, my man. Appreciate your support as always, brother. Cali Gold in Vegas, 3rd week of October. Hit me up. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to switch to... Why does this Wi-Fi suck? Let's switch to my phone, I guess. Hopefully the stream won't drop. I'm going to switch to my phone. No. Yeah, 280 should be nuts. Yeah, I had to switch the phone. Crazy, man. Crazy that the Wi-Fi here always has problems. I don't get it. Oh, Big Ben, don't think Hunt KOs him. Yeah. Thomas, I'm actually not making the trip to Abu Dhabi this time. Staying home. Hot T just told me he just received word that he has to pay $150 to apply for customs clearance. Crazy. Nah, Zuck let us have the weigh-ins. He's like, you scrawny media can't go to my fights, but you can have the weigh-ins. Oh, I see. Big Ben is saying that is Bobo O'Bannon one of your guys? Weigh-ins in the metaverse. So, yeah. So, Big Ben, nobody knows for sure. I have not spoken to a single person that knows exactly what's going on. Everybody's just kind of like, I don't know. But yeah, the rumblings that everybody's hearing is that Zuckerberg is involved somehow. We kind of talked about this early, but, I mean, it's been a couple hours at this point. Obviously, you saw Dana come out and tweet, Zuck did not rent out the arena. But does that mean that he did reserve it? Just didn't pay for it, so he didn't technically rent it? Who knows? As I mentioned early on, there's a big VIP event that Shaquille O'Neal is hosting on Saturday night as well. I don't know if there's any tie-in to that. Maybe some of those same VIPs are coming over here. I don't know what's going on. And I don't know. I haven't found anybody that does know exactly what's going on. Like, literally nobody. So, kind of wild. Stairway to 7. Look at the positivity. Thank you. Always like that positive vibes coming in here. So, thank you. And, yeah, you are late. Everybody has weighed in. Nobody missed, although we did lose Jessica Penne and Tabitha Ricci. And we're waiting to do the face-offs now. Big Ben, Bobo is my boy. So are you predicting the Bobo O'Bannon upset? I mean, I guess if he's your boy, you have to, right? Like, if he's your boy, you can't be like, I'm predicting my guy's going to lose. So I guess I won't ask you that question. That's a fairly unfair question. But I guess you're saying that Bobo probably brings more to the table than most people realize. Yeah, Zach, you're super late. We're just waiting for the face-offs now. Yeah. So, Shawnee, my understanding is, and again, I don't know if this has something to do with the reason the media's not there. So, my understanding is that everybody that's going to be here is going to be COVID tested. So, like, COVID protocol is back in place for this event for some reason. And so, I think it was more of just a logistical thing as to why we're not here. Like, I don't think they were actually like, oh, we cannot allow any media in there. I think it was just like, what would be easier is if we just didn't have any media for this one. And then they don't have to go through all the COVID protocol and all that. So, I don't know. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. As I keep saying there, I think what we're going to find out tomorrow is it's far less exciting than anybody is hoping. Yeah, Big Ben, that's fair too. I think there's something fair to say that, right? Like, the person that's new to BKFC versus somebody that has experience, they know what it feels like. They know what the pacing is like. They know what the shots feel like. They know what all those things. So it's very fair to say that. Very fair to say that. Look at Chrissy stirring up trouble. So no politics zone. No politics. We just talk fights. We just talk fights and have positivity. No, so Zach, what they're doing is the UFC staff is actually, the UFC staff always does brief interviews with the winners, and they always put them on their website, UFC.com. But what they're going to do this time, they're going to do a little bit more extended interviews rather than the kind of quick ones that they normally do, stretch it out a little bit, kind of more like a post-fight scrum, and then they're going to distribute that footage to all the media members, so it will be made available. You can stay away. You keep being you. You keep being you. Shawnee, the cardboard cutouts are still. I did, by the way, I did take a look inside because if, you know, where we're sitting right here is kind of like this entryway to the Apex. The actual, like, fighting area is just to our left as we sit here. I did take a peek. You know, there's just a big open doorway to see if, like, there was anything different in there. You know, if they had already started to set up something unique. And I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It looks like a typical day. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. You know, because that's all a lot of people, wow, well, they're testing for the metaverse or whatever. But, like, they may be. But, like, why would they have, like, they've had that before. They've had, like, that 360 camera or whatever you need. They've had it in here before. So, like, you don't need to kick the media out for that to test equipment. I mean, on most nights, there's probably only like 8 to 10 media members tops. I mean, we take up a very little tiny place. And that's the other thing, too, is like in the Apex, you have complete control. It's not like an arena or something where there's, I mean, it's just a big open area. They could move us anywhere. They could put us anywhere. So I don't buy that they didn't need, and again, I may be 100% wrong when I say this, but I just can't see that you needed the media out to test equipment. You know? I don't know. Like, what do you... If anything, like, if it was some, like, big deal, like, wouldn't you want people talking about it? Like, wouldn't you want media to be there to be like, oh, look at this. They've got this brand new camera for the metaverse. Oh, what's the metaverse? Wow, well, it's VR. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, it's like you'd want media there almost if you were doing something like that. And if you wanted to test equipment, I don't know. Just... So I don't buy that, or I don't see that as the most logical thing. Like I said, I know everybody that's there is being COVID tested, which actually does make me wonder. I wonder if this Jessica Penne-Tabitha Ricci fight, I wonder if Jessica Penne tested positive for COVID. They just said illness. I wonder if it was COVID. Because we haven't been COVID testing in months and months and months. So I just wonder if part of it was just logistics. I don't know. I think we'll find out tomorrow and we'll be like, that's not that big a deal. Yes, Cali Gold still doing the and a half over at patreon.com/the MMA Roadshow. So if you like chatting in here and you haven't listened to the MMA Roadshow, what are you doing? Go to your favorite podcast provider and check out the MMA Roadshow with John Morgan. And then if you want to take your game to the next level, head on over to patreon.com/the MMA Roadshow. Help support the show for as little as $3 a month. Yeah, Big Ben, I don't think it'll ever happen at a pay-per-view. Like I said, I don't know. We'll see tomorrow, I guess. Yeah, Shawnee, there's still just tables. So there are stands, but like even the stands are movable. I mean, they're all like, they're not like bolted in or anything. So when you see like those seats that are, like when you watch a show at the Apex and you see people in like risers or whatever, like those risers are all movable. And then even within the risers, there's just chairs in there, and those chairs are all movable. We actually just sit at chairs, and I mean, it's just regular chairs and tables. Like they could literally move it anywhere in there. So. The MMA Roadshow. Oh, Big Ben, you've never listened to the podcast? You're killing me. I actually played, you'd like this week, Big Ben. I actually played the Lorenzo Hunt audio from the interview I did with him. It could be, Cody. It could be. But, like, and again, I don't even know what tech is needed for all the metaverse stuff. And, I mean, I know they want to do that. I mean, I know, like, One Championship has they're already doing some VR stuff I've seen. I've never tried it out. But I know they have it. I've seen it. But like the cameras and stuff, like the hell, we wouldn't even know what we were looking at. You know, it's not like if you had a camera on the other side of the Apex, we'd even see it or what. I mean, I don't know what you need. It could be. Maybe I'm wrong. What's up, Keith? No, I appreciate the kind words, Keith. And the shout out to Keen as well. We'll give another shout out to Keen. They get a Keith and Keen. Yeah, I mean, that, you know, they said illness, so I'm not saying that Jessica Penne tested positive. I'm saying if that's what it was, like, that sucks for her because, like, we haven't been getting tested in forever. Maybe it was more weight cut related. You know, sometimes when you hear illness, that's it. But if that's the reason she missed the fight, that would be not great. Slugworth. Shout out to you, Big Ben. Hey, Big Ben looking for a shout out. Didn't even know I had a podcast. It is on YouTube, by the way. It's just audio on YouTube, but my man Cold Coffee takes the time to put it up on YouTube every week. Just audio, not video. But if that's where you listen to it, you definitely can. Anik Florian, I see Caligo to Anik Florian. I listen to Anik and Florian as well. Solid podcast, no question about it. Obviously, we got Cody Merrow here as well, so respect to the man that puts it together. Just waiting on everybody to get together for these face-offs. I saw Sean Shelby walking around. Cody Merrow, always such a humble guy. Always such a humble guy. The masked man, Cold Coffee, always behind the camera. Cold Coffee's going to have to do some more on-camera stuff now. It's all svelte and lean.
Yeah, let me get down to 225 and we'll see.
Cody Merrow with an auga.
Not if I go visit you at B-Dubs all the time.
Good old Fiasco Jones. Alex, face-off should be any minute now, to be honest with you. Kimbo Slice, putting in work. Nah, Big Ben, Cold Coffee's still there at the old spot. They tried to make him stop doing the podcast, but that was a negative. Sleeper fight this week. All right. Sleeper fight this week. I mean, I feel like everyone's sleeping on the whole card, right? Like, everybody's kind of not looking at this, but I think there's going to be some good ones, man. I do think I'm a big Mike Davis fan. I think that dude can scrap, man. So him and Slavoclaus, I think that could be an absolute banger. So I'm looking forward to that one. I know a lot of people think, and I agree, Kennedy and Costa right off the top should be a lot of fun. Barcelos and Trevin could be a lot of fun. I think we get some entertaining fights. I think we get some entertaining fights. I really do. And I'll watch them from the comfort of my home. Coffee needs to come to the dark side. I know. Trust me. If I had the funds, I'd hire him right now. Yeah, Zach. I agree with you. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Well, look at that, Thomas. Good job, my man. What was your? Did you have a routine on 1,000 calories? When I was in my best shape, I literally ate like the same meals all day, every day, just so I didn't even have to think about it. Mine's beer. Just gotta quit drinking so much beer. That's it. And prioritizing exercise. To be honest with you, I'm busy all day, every day. But like, you know what? Like last night at my kid's soccer practice, I just walked the whole time during practice. Like that way I could still watch his practice and I was interacting with them, but I just walked around the field the whole time. Like not the greatest exercise, but at least something other than just sitting there. That's the only problem with this job is you're sedentary for like 12 hours a day, like just sitting, and it's mentally draining because you're doing a whole bunch of stuff, but you're not moving at all. I just thought about like bringing like some, I don't know, it'd be kind of dorky, but like bring some kettlebells or something to his jiu-jitsu practice. I could just stand off to the side and watch him and talk to him and support him, but just like lift some kettlebells or something. I know it sounds kind of dorky, huh? Put everything together the night before. UFC time, I think that's the key too. Like don't leave yourself to make a decision. You won't make a bad decision. I'm down a little bit, but Cold Coffee's down like 45 at this point, man. He's been doing the Train Alta program, and he's down like 45, man. But yeah, love me some frosty beverages. Shawnee, that would be funny. Like just Skype me in from home. All right, I'm gonna move because the fighters are lining up. We're gonna have our face-offs. So we're about to get started. So I'm gonna go move so I can take some photos.
All right, ready to go with our stare downs for UFC Fight Night Dern versus Jan as we welcome on matchmaker to the star, Sean Shelby. We will begin with a prelim in the UFC's bantamweight division, Guido Kennedy versus Randy Costa. All right, next up, at a catch weight of 140 pounds, Stoliarenko versus Chelsea Chandler. All right, next prelim comes your way in the light heavyweight division. Maxim Grecian versus Felipe Lens. All right, next up, big fight at middleweight here. Christoph Jotko versus Brendan Allen. All right, next up in the UFC's lightweight division, Joachim Silva versus Jesse Ronson. All right, and our featured prelim in the UFC's heavyweight division, Alir Latifi versus Alexi Olynyk. All right, now we get to the main card, also live on ESPN Plus. First out of the chute in the lightweight division, Mike Davis versus Vyacheslav Barshov. All right, next up at a catch weight of 140 pounds, John Castaneda versus Daniel Santos. All right, next main card matchup comes your way in the featherweight division. Super Sadiq Yusuf versus Shameless Don Sheamus. All right, next up we get to a featured bout in the UFC's bantamweight division. Raoni Barcelos versus Trevin Jones. All right, now to the co-main event in the welterweight division, Randy Brown versus Francisco Trinaldo. And lastly, our main event matchup of strawweight contenders, Mackenzie Dern versus Jan Shaonon. Ladies and gentlemen, Mackenzie Dern, Jan Shaonon under the lights right here at the UFC Apex tomorrow night, live wall-to-wall on ESPN+. One more sleep. We will see many of you tomorrow.
Oh. I didn't get
All right. That's a wrap, guys. Enjoy kicking it with everybody again. Thank you for everybody that tuned in for any portion of the time.
I'm a promoter, so I'm allowed, you know. I'm no longer me.
Oh, man. We'll watch it on ESPN Plus tomorrow, just like everybody else. Have a great day. We'll see you, not next week. Next week, UFC Fight Pass, CFFC. Watch there. See you in a couple weeks. Have a good one, everybody.